And we're back. I quietly back out of the room as I shut the door in front of my face. I whispered to myself, what an intriguing person. From inside, I hear a muffled sing-song voice. I heard that. What the heck? Oh, look at that. Oh my god. I never knew I could do it. Look at that. I can scroll, and it goes back through the... Oh my god, that might be helpful later. I heard that. Well, what did she hear? I jump at the sudden appearance of Misha, who I had not heard approaching despite the completely empty hallway. Somehow she had gotten to jumping distance of me without making a sound. Creepy. It briefly reminds me of Kenji's nutty theory about a global feminist conspiracy, but I push that thought aside. Shizune, standing slightly behind Misha, looks aloof as she couldn't have heard the remark that drew Misha's attention, but Misha is visibly excited. No, wait, more importantly, who's in there? There's no club meetings today. She tries to curiously peek past me, even though the door prevents her from seeing anyway. What are you doing here? You took so long, maybe I have to come check what's wrong. That's no good, Ichan. She wags her finger at me scoldingly. I found plywood, but everything else is still missing because you are tardy. Oh, sorry, I got the things here, was just gonna bring them. I think you're up to some mischief, Ichan. Who is in there with you, I wonder. You should sign something quickly to Shizune, pointing at her ear a couple of times. Shizune immediately pushes her way past me and opens the door into the classroom I just left. I can only imagine the shock she is experiencing. With Shizune's diligence and attitude, the insolence of daring to deface school property by sleeping on top of it must be too much to bear. And indeed, she stares at Rin, frozen in place apart from this slight but noticeable trembling of her shoulders from suppressing rage, I'm sure. Instead of blowing up, Shizune just takes a few deep breaths, adjusts her glasses, and slams the door shut, turning to sign furiously at Misha. Maybe she did blow up, but I can't understand it. She shoots a very loaded stare at me, too, as if it was somehow my fault that Rin is sleeping on one of the tables. I hope she's not getting any funny ideas about the reason of my tardiness. Hello. Rin's voice comes from the other side of the door, and it takes a few eye blinks to realize she might have trouble opening it. I open the door to find Rin directly behind it, looking at us with a half-interested, half-sleepy face. Hello. Miss Tezuka, what do you think you were doing? You absolutely are not permitted to use school property for such a disgraceful activity. It sure is suddenly very crowded in here. I didn't know I was this popular. It's hard to say whether she's happy or unhappy about this turn of events. At any rate, she ignores Shizune Misha's scolding, so they have no choice but to drop the issue. Shizune taps Misha's shoulder, points at Rin, and makes some quick signs. Popularity aside, please don't do that anymore. Anyway, how is your project going? Will it be done for the festival? Rin looks at them blankly, apparently at ease under the pressure Shizune's cold stare is putting on her. I keep wondering about that myself too. And? We'll think about it harder. As Misha signs her reply to Shizune, her face turns into an unsatisfied frown. Miss Tezuka, please try to take this seriously. It'll be a disaster if the wall looks like someone threw up their lunch onto it. Rin nods assertively. We'll think more seriously. Misha actually giggles at that, but Shizune doesn't, not even after translation. She just shakes her head, takes the materials from me, and takes off with Misha in tow. Rin frowns thoughtfully as she looks after the retreating student council duo. How rude. It's true, though, I must finish my project before the weekend. There will be dire consequences if I don't. The end of the world as we know it. Like weekends usually are, but more dire. Much more dire. Maybe I'll postpone my nap to unforeseen future. I'm about to ask what project she has and what these apocalyptic consequences, but she walks back into the art classroom. Since you have nothing to do, would you give me a hand? This paint can doesn't fit into my bag, but I need it. She kicks lightly at the huge can of paint that's lying on the floor next to the table she was just sitting and sleeping on. It lets out a dull clang. Being the gentleman I am, I naturally pick it up. Heavy. Yeah, sure. Where do you need to take it? Away. Oh, that helps. And with that, she takes off to the hallway, me and the paint can following since there's little choice for either of us. Hallway is quiet and empty now that Shizune and Misha are gone, so we too leave towards the stairwell at the other end. Every 10 or 15 or 20 steps I have to change the can from one hand to another because the thin handle cuts into my palm. At least it keeps my arms from tiring too fast. Rin strolls on beside me with an uneven pace that I have trouble matching, or maybe I'm walking weird because of the extra weight. Seems one of us is constantly walking too slow or too fast, and I can't figure out which. 2 flights of stairs below, trouble appears in the form of the head nurse and his fox-like grin. Ah, Mr. Nakai, what a happy coincidence. Tezuka too, of course. He nods courteously to Rin, who does not acknowledge him back, and then turns to me because obviously it's me who he had some business with. There's something I forgot to mention on Monday. I nod and wait impassively because I can't even begin to guess what he forgot. The feeling of the handle delving deeper into my skin doesn't make me feel enthusiastic about this interruption either. It's about your medication. Since you haven't been that long on your current medication, there might be some unexpected side effects, which might require adjusting dosages or even changing to another kind of medication. So we will do a few tests regularly, but what I'd want is for you to keep an eye on everything in your condition that feels off, if you get what I mean. Nausea, headache, anything. Come see me if something happens. Alright. So how are you? Everything fine? I give up and drop the can to the floor before answering. Apparently this takes longer than my biceps can handle. I'm about to say something generic as an answer, but then I realize how often I've done that lately. Other people have asked me that too. Teachers and students here, my parents, visitors, nurses, doctors at the hospital. Everyone seems to be concerned about that. It's natural for a hospital, not so much for a school. Except this school. This is a small school, and both the student base and the faculty seem to be very tightly knit. At least that's the feeling I'm getting. This is not the kind of school that gets transfer students too often. Thoughts send shivers up my spine, but I give a generic answer anyway. He didn't even tell us what he said. That's great. Also, one other thing. My sources tell me that you've been at neither the school track nor even the pool, so I'd like to know if you have taken up exercising as I asked. Of course I haven't, but his way of inquiring gives me the feeling that I should have been running my ass off on the track since the very first day. You have people spying on me? Not as such, I just happen to know a few people, but that's not the issue here, so don't try to slip out of it. Well, it's actually just doing some improvised weightlifting as an exercise. I pick up and lift the can up and down a few times, like some sad imitation of a bodybuilder, even though it's weighing down on my arms painfully. Stupid grin disappears from his face for a second, then comes back like it was never gone. Tezuka, would you give us a second? The nurse grabs him by the shoulder without waiting for Rin's permission, which he didn't need in the first place, and drags me aside. When I told you to exercise, I wasn't joking. I understand that you're still in your first week and all, but please don't ignore the importance of this. The reason I'm coming down this hard on you is that habits are not easy to form. The more you slip and postpone, the harder it'll be. It's the same with everything, like dieting. Can you promise to be more serious about this from now on? I guess I'll save. Great, no. Will you be more serious? Yes, I will be more serious. Yeah, I promise, definitely. That doesn't sound very sincere. He studies me for a moment and then shrugs, smiling again. Okay, that's more like it. If you go to the school track tomorrow morning, you'll meet my spy, who probably has no qualms offering consultation to you if you want to jog a bit. Consultation? See you around. Oh, okay. He leaves with a wave of his hand and no answer, and I walk to Rin, who has been waiting, idly leaning against the hallway wall and staring at the pale lighting fixtures in the ceiling. Even when I approach, she doesn't move her eyes off them. Are you getting medications for your heart thingy? Were you listening? Comes out more accusatory than I intended, accidentally lashing out at her. But even so, I don't really want to start talking about it. I just met her. I don't know her. It's not her business. Nurse seems to be happily ignorant about confidentiality, too, talking about that kind of thing in public. But it's not Rin's fault, is it? I look up at her, suddenly feeling a bit guilty. But Rin is just staring past my shoulder, quizzically, her head tilted like a bird's. I don't know why this is so hard for me. It feels like there is some inexplicable lock that prevents me from being more upfront about this. Yeah, they're for my heart. Will they make you better? No, not really. They just make me feel a little less worse. Rin keeps looking at me for a little while longer, and she neither says anything further nor displays any kind of emotion I could discern. I'm thankful that she doesn't. I think I'm still not quite used to all this. At the hospital it was easy, but I still haven't sorted my feelings about having to live a normal life with this disability. We leave the main building, and Rin leads us onwards towards the dorm. We stop at a small patch of greenery in front of the dorm building. The dorm is built on a slightly elevated ground with a wall and a few trees that everyone has to circle around every time they come or go is probably the only inconvenient design in the school. The entire wall, made of the same kind of bricks as the building itself, has been covered in some sort of painting. Most of it is still mere sketches, quick lines drawn with black and white against the grey plastering that covers almost the entire length of the wall, but some places look a bit more finished. There are human faces and legs and hands. I can't quite say what the painting as a whole might portray. Stacks of what seem to be paint cans are arranged in piles on the ground beside the wall. See, the left side is hardly off the ground yet. It's because I couldn't get in the mood yesterday, so I gave up and went to meditate instead. Then it was suddenly morning. I have to work on it, but the guys from art class are helping with the negative spaces and base surfaces whenever, which is a problem. It's easier to paint big areas if there's lots of people with hands. The reach is better, and it's faster too. She goes on a tangent of a tangent, waving a little with her arm, or whatever there actually is, to demonstrate even though I got the point already. The white cotton of her sleeve flaps about, and it makes me think it could look sadder than it does. It makes me feel out of place, like almost every tangible reminder the student base's special properties has in the past few days. The girl doesn't notice my dreary feelings, of course, or the fact that she lost me a while ago already, and just keeps on blabbering. So that's what I'm trying to figure out, if there's something I need to figure out, and then figure that out before it's too late and all hope is lost. Why would hope be lost? Because paint has to be painted, and then it has to dry, and then it has to be painted over with another kind of paint. It takes time. She finally stops, apparently thinking she has made some kind of statement that makes sense. I think it's best to start from the top. So this is your project? You did this? Yes. All of it. Yes. Nice, but I stumble with my words, suddenly feeling I've walked straight into the minefield of political incorrectness. It's okay, you can say it. I probably won't get mad. I blush really hard. I don't know what would be the right thing to say, if any. It feels like I'm way more sensitive than Rin is, though. This is really awkward. Don't you want to ask? How do you paint without hands? See, I'm an easy person to talk to, right? With my feet. I almost guessed that already, but isn't that hard to do? You're good at guessing. Anyway, I don't think it is, but maybe I'm used to it by now. I can't get my mind around the fact that she could be an artist, but seeing how adept she was at using her feet to eat, I figured maybe painting might not be a problem either. Neither of us has anything more to add to the subject. The afternoon light works pretty well. I was afraid it would look too flat, but it's not like that after all. I think it's actually pretty interesting. I wanted to see what it looks like in dim light. Do you think it's flat? Well, paintings tend to be flat. Not like that flat, you know. Flat. Like some people are. No substance, no meat, where there should be some. I know a few oh, why did you skip that one? I know a few girls who... Okay, I get it, but I couldn't really tell. I'm not that good with art. I can't name many artists or artistic terms, so I don't really have anything to say. Rin shrugs her shoulders at the saying, suit yourself. At that saying, suit yourself, without saying it, and looks up at the sky as if trying to look for something up there. I didn't think I'd get any actual work done, but if you give me a hand with the paints, I could do a little more before it's too dark. I wanted to get a halogen lamp like the ones they have at the sports track, but there aren't any. Rin sure is quick to recruit my help, as was Shizune. It really makes me feel that the festival is such a big project that every pair of hands is needed. Why not? I'm not really sure if I can be of any help, though. It's just mixing some paints. You can do that, probably. Do you have motor control problems? Like, you know, those people who have some? Oh. Cerebral palsy, maybe? Not that I know of. I get it, Heart Thingy has nothing to do with that. She gives me a sly look for no reason. No, it doesn't. Let's do it, then. She sits on an empty wooden box and very naturally picks up a wide brush between her toes of her bare right foot. I open a few of the cans and pour some of the contents into shallow bowls for mixing. The thick paints flow lazily from the can to the bowl like syrup. I mix them, creating funny, hypnotic-looking swirl patterns that melt quickly into each other to form a new monotone hue. Rin sets to work every now and then asking me for a hand with something or the other. Finding different brushes is easy enough, but mixing the paints to be the exact tone this girl is apparently seeing in her head is a frustrating ordeal. She wants precision down to the last milliliter before she is satisfied, but her instructions are obscure at best. Add half a splash of green. I crouch down and pick up the can of bright green. The other green. This green. Carefully pour some of the other green paint into the mixing bowl. No, that's almost a whole splash. More white. Is green a good color to add? No idea. You're the artist here. A hint of a smile appears in the corners of her mouth. Do you lack an opinion? No, it's just that I have no idea. That's okay, because I got an idea. Add more white. With this exclamation, I pour a minuscule amount of white into the bowl and mix it. It looks slightly whiter. Oh, really? That's not good. It has to be like the color when you wake up and you know that you saw the meaning of life in your dreams. I can't remember it. Maybe it's yellow. Despite the impossibility of mixing a color like the change of seasons or any other nonsense that's being imposed on me, I find myself enjoying it more than I thought I would. Seeing a painting being born on the plastered wall feels like magic. I spend the moments I have between mixing paints crouching down on the paving and just looking at her work. Feels slightly intrusive at first, like breaking some imaginary intimacy, but Rin doesn't seem to mind the least bit. Maybe it's just in my head. Her entire presence emits a completely different air as she patiently works the details, adding layers of paint on top of other layers of paint, steadily moving her foot across the wall to add new shapes. When I manage to produce a passable mixture of paint, the rare smile on her face is oddly rewarding. Apart from the few words when discussing paint mixes, neither of us says a word for the longest time. And even those short discussions soon evolve into a shorthand, both of us developing and using weird impromptu code words for various paints and hues. As if there was some need to consider words and breathe sound. We stay there late into the evening until it becomes too dark to paint properly. There's no music at all. Oh, there's music. Oh, we didn't have a Kenji moment. Aw. The sound of an alarm pulls me out of a fitful slumber and into the unpleasant state of wakefulness. I linger under the blanket for a few minutes, gathering energy to rise up while making excuses as for why I already haven't. Honestly, I wouldn't mind staying here all day. School is surprisingly exhausting after a long pause, and the culture shock still has not faded, I think. Still, despite getting an impression that skipping class is easy here, I don't think they're going to let me get away that easily. And the nurse is bound to keep breathing down my neck with the talk of exercising as well. So eventually I do rise up, swallow the morning medications, and put on my old soccer clothing. Thanks to my condition, I was exempt from taking part in gym classes at Yamaku, so I didn't get issued a gym outfit. In order to cover such a contingency, but wearing... I'd order to cover such a contingency, but wearing my old soccer clothes is kind of nostalgic. Can't use them for that anymore, so maybe they can get a new life this way, a bit like me. After all, if I'm going to start taking care of myself, I can't afford to slack around. I'll start from the basics. Basics which include keeping the rest of my body in shape, along with what little I can do to strengthen my heart. Maybe then I can go back to something approaching a normal life, or at least something where I'm less likely to fall over dead at any minute. Surprised to discover that I'm not the only one present at the track. Not just that, but it's a face I've seen before. The prosthetic leg girl who bowled over me in the hallway yesterday is running on the track lithely. Okay, I've never seen that word before, like a half mechanical gazelle. What was her name again? It was a short one, but I can't remember. She seems to be running laps at a somewhat easy lope, her prosthetic legs clacking rhythmically on the hard track surface. Wonder what reason she has for running this early in the morning. Maybe it's something akin to mine, and the nurse is oppressing the poor girl to jog just like he is oppressing me. I certainly wouldn't be here if it weren't for my health and his prompting me to do so. And even with things being like they are, it's only because I wanted to get it out of the way early. The fact that I would be less likely to encounter someone who would witness my pitiful attempts to get in shape was merely a happy accident. I leave, but it seems that my former assailant noticed me on her last lap. She waves at me cheerfully and jogs over. Good morning, your name is Hisao, right? She grins, seemingly pleased that she'd remembered my name. You may not remember me. Emmy, I knocked you over in the hallway yesterday. Miss Ibarazaki? She imitates Misha imitating... What? She imitates Misha imitating Shizune, failing to get the same kind of subdued lilt into her high-pitched voice. How could I forget such a blunt introduction? Emmy has the decency to look vaguely apologetic for a moment before giggling. Yeah, sorry about that again. Well, so long as you don't make a habit of it, I suppose it's fine. Great. I'm not sure she realized I was joking. So the spy consultant nurse was talking about, is that actually you? That's right. Oh, I was expecting some from the nursing staff, to be honest. What are you saying, I don't look like I could be a spy? No, not really. No, this is more like a relief. I was afraid he would have someone to watch my every move. Unless you are here to do exactly that. No, I'm here for my own reasons. The nurse just asked me if I'd seen a messy-haired transfer student who looks like he's kind of lost around the track. So why are you down here? And he strikes a dramatic pose. Training. For what? Track. I see, you're on the track team then. Emmy nods enthusiastically. Yep, I'm one of the better runners too. And modest about it too. Hey, you should join up. No, it's good exercise, you know. I think that much activity is probably out of the question for me. No, I'm not even sure that I really like running all that much. Plus, I'm just not into organized sports, you know. It's true, I never really got that much into soccer. I mean, I'd run around with my friends and all, but that was really the only reason I ever played. It wasn't for the glory to be found on the field, that's for sure. Amy seems to understand my meaning. I see. Not that into the whole organization thing. But now that you're here, I guess we're gonna run together, Well, sure, I guess. Emmy seems pleased. Are you gonna warm up? Real men don't warm up. Oh no, you always should warm up, Batty-sao. She scolds me enthusiastically, but then smiles and leans closer. I hate warming up too. She laughs suddenly. Heck, and I don't even have to stretch my legs. As if to confirm her statement, she bounces up and down a couple of times, giving a passing impression of standing on a pair of springs. Her leg blades seem to be quite elastic. Let's go. So we both take off around the track, and I can immediately see that she wasn't lying about being good at running. Emmy moves fluidly, throwing herself into the run with a sort of wild abandon. I found myself concentrating more on running properly. Hands spread, right? And something about hitting on the balls of your feet rather than the heels. I try to match my stride to Emmy's, but it's pretty difficult. Apparently I'm not very good at it. Maybe Emmy could help me with that sometime. I'm really not feeling up to more than a couple of laps today, and slow to a walk pretty quickly. Oh, okay. Emmy keeps her running and doesn't seem to notice. I've stopped until she passes me a second time. She quickly skids to a halt, breathing steadily in contrast to my own somewhat gasping demeanor. Finished already? I hang my head ruefully. Yeah. I'm not in very good shape right now. Emmy nods and then grins at me again. She seems to do a lot of smiling. Well, the important thing is you started, right? Next time, you just have to try to hold out longer, and then longer, and then longer, and eventually you'll be great. I'll keep that in mind. I think right now I'm gonna get ready for class, shouldn't you? Emmy shrugs unconcernedly. Nah, I've got plenty of time. I notice that she's not wearing a watch. Are you sure? Another careless shrug? Not really, but I've got to finish my routine. See you later, Isao. Yeah, see ya. I'm not sure whether this morning's experiment was a success or a failure, but I'll admit that I do feel slightly good about getting out there this morning. And like Emmy said, I just need to keep at it in order to get better, right? Practice makes perfect, or something like that. It's nice at least to feel like I've taken some semblance of control over my own health. I'll have to try to keep this up. Drink break. Damn neighbor's dog barking again. I head back to the dorms to wash and change into my uniform, trying to resist the urge to take a really long and hot shower. I'm tired from all the running, so I just want to unwind, but I don't want to break my slowly building routine of getting to school before the morning rush. After taking a long shower anyway, I dry myself off and get out of the stall to put on my clothes. Out of nowhere, a shadow appears within the mist, looming and radiating malicious intent, and bursts through the fog. Sup? What are you doing here? What the hell? You scared me. What's your problem? I should be asking you that. I've been looking for you all over the place, man. What do you mean all over the place? I want to ask if he's been looking for me like that, stark naked, but hold my tongue back. I finally realize I'm still naked too and quickly hold up my shirt in front of me, but Kenji doesn't seem to notice a thing. His glasses are fogged up, but then, why doesn't he wipe them off? Is his vision so bad it's like he's perpetually seeing through fog? You know, your room, and yeah, that's it. You know, your room, and yeah, that's it, okay. Hey, I mean, I still have to get up, though. Whatever, it's not important. Can I borrow some money? Oh. He puts on an innocent face and looks away, trying very hard to look very casual. It doesn't work. He's as transparent as his window pane-sized glasses. Talking neutrally like this, wearing nothing, feels awkward. Actually, somehow it's even more awkward to be naked in front of someone when they can't see me being naked, to say nothing of the fact that he's naked as well. I try to brush the feeling off with a little success. Money? Sure. What? Oh, okay. You're not even going to ask what it's for? Wait, what do you need? There you go. Can't you just give it to me because I had the goodwill not to run through your pockets while you were in the shower? I could have, but I exercised restraint. And in the end, isn't it the thought that counts? Come on, be a pal. This makes no sense. If it's the thought that counts, I should withhold payment, since his thoughts were so clearly impure and his intentions are probably even more sinister since he can't tell me what they are. I say as much to him. I'm offended, man, but if that's your game, then fine. I guess I have no choice. I want to order pizza, and I already have most of the cost of the pizza. I need your help for the rest. I get some of the pizza too, right? No. Oh, are you serious? Yeah, I would give you some, but you have class, so you don't have time to eat pizza. What about you? I'm not going to class. I have to wait for the pizza and pay the guy, and then eat it. It's not easy. You have to obtain the pizza stealthily. If you don't, everyone will see you and the pizza, and they will ask for a slice. Good thinking. It's a hard world out there. Everyone wants a piece. Then you're left pizzaless in an unforgiving world. It's happened before, and that's how I know. Every day I plan my vengeance, so that when people who wronged me order a pizza, I will be there, ever vigilant. Kenji strikes a dramatic pose, completely without irony. But yeah, I only need like 400 yen. Please, you're my only hope. I can't go outside and buy my own pizza. It's too far. I try not to go out unless it's absolutely necessary. Let me tell you what happened last time I went out without carefully planning it out in advance. I was outside. I can't remember what I was doing. Something, standing, and maybe wondering how I got there. Then out of nowhere, it happened. Like a flash of lightning, splitting the sky, like how you split a sandwich into 2 equal pieces to make it more manageable to hold and eat. A bird crapped on my head. It was the second most shocking moment of my life. What was the first? He ignores me and keeps going. I want to grab him and shake him. Is he trying to keep momentum? I'll go with that, even if it's more like he just didn't hear me. It was like in the opening of some kind of anime show. You know how there's always a part where the main dude is fighting his rival and they fly at each other and clash swords, and there's like a big dramatic colored auras and zoom? It was like that, but with poo. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a good answer. So yeah, I need some money, please. Don't leave me hanging, man. I only need like 1,000. I thought it was 400. Yep, nope, there we go. Okay. What? I'll pay you back, I swear. You better, or what's... That's what it means to borrow stuff. I don't know when I'll be able to pay you back. You have 1 week. Kenji winces and makes a noise like a dying cow, particularly disturbing given that his baton is conducting freely. You're not supposed to be so tight-assed about money between brothers in arms, man. Men have it bad enough as it is. Did you know that male porn stars only make about half what a female porn star makes? That doesn't mean anything unless you're a porn star. So maybe I am a porn star on the side, struggling to make ends meet as I fight the feminist agenda, and you can't even spot me your crumbs, you bastard. Nobody understands nobody. Wouldn't feminists be against pornography in the first place? This feminist agenda stuff again? This stuff is important. I can see you don't give a shit, but this is serious here. Feminists are a dangerous enemy, make no mistake. You take them lightly, and you'll wake up in the morning with a knife in your back. Bam, out of nowhere. How do you wake up in the morning as someone stabbed you in your sleep? Women are terrible at stabbing things. I thought you just said don't take them lightly. Well, I mean don't take them lightly for the big things. Individually, they're not a threat, but if there was some kind of war, like a big war with men on one side and the feminist forces on the other side, it would be pretty ugly. And that day will come when the feminists come out of their central top-secret worldwide feminist headquarters and say, "It's on now, motherfuckers." You're being ridiculous. There's no big worldwide feminist headquarter building. Where would they even hide that? I mean, it'd have to be massive. You couldn't hide that on Earth. Someone would notice a big fortress with women only in it. Who said it was on Earth? Ooh. I turn away from Kenji and start practicing frowning faces in a mirror so that I can figure out what kind of frown will best express my emotions. He can't see me from this distance anyway. Which unfortunately means that he just keeps on ranting without any regard to sense or sensibility. Yeah, there's a war going on, a war not many know about, but it's a great one that will one day boil over and encompass all of the known world. Then we will have to pick sides. We will have to make a stand. In fact, it's happening right now. Imagine it, the bloody battlefield of vicious conflict without end. I almost gave up when I thought this cause was silly. When I grew tired of the bleakness of our fight, when I mistook the power went out for a feminist raid and thought the end was near. But then I realized that if I gave up, it would be all over, and I was like, whoa. And I knew I had to get serious, because I am the last sane man in an insane world. It's about duty. Must be a pretty crappy movement if it all hinges on one naked guy ranting in a bathroom and another naked guy. So, can I have the money? He's blocking the way out. It's getting cold because I'm still naked and I want to go to class, so I agree to spot him the money. Awesome, thanks dude. We should go bowling later on. Bowling? I can't see this guy bowling. Yeah, it's the ultimate sport. There are almost no women bowlers either, making it almost the manliest sport. Should I wear my pink bowling shirt with matching shoes or the pastel green with flower accents? There are bowling clothes? Maybe. Anyway, you had better pay me back. I can pay you back in stuff, right? I don't have the time to ask him to elaborate on what that means. I don't know, I have to get to class, you're kind of in the way. Oh, sorry, yeah, I don't want to hold you up, and I have some stuff to do myself. The time has come. The time for what? I just like saying that. Oh man, this guy's the best. Okay, now the time has really come. For what? I have to use the bathroom. Get out of it. I was just going to, and what does that mean? It's a big bathroom. So I have to be a loner. I can't go. The pressure. Okay, what if someone else comes in? I'll think of something. I give him my practiced frown, and it looks kind of silly reflected in his glasses. He either doesn't notice or doesn't see anyway, so I get dressed and run back to my room, feeling as though an eternity has passed since I woke up. That is time I will never get back. I'll get him for this somehow. But right now I have to get to class. I'm the first person in class today, although I think I'm a little too early. Then again, sitting alone for 20 minutes sure beats having to suffer that time with Kenji. The combination of fatigue, frustration, and boredom starts making me feel very tired. I black out for a second, waking up when my head hits the surface of my desk, rub my forehead. I realize this is a good reason as any to stay up for now and stop coming to class so early later. Eventually I hear a tapping noise outside in the hallway, and Lily's tall figure appears in the doorway. She's not in this class, so she must have some other business. Maybe she's looking for Hanako. Lilly stops at the door, looking hesitant as if she was a vampire who can't come in unless invited. I consider doing so because she looks rather lonesome standing there. She steps in on her own accord, though, after straightening her skirt and shirt collar as if it was of importance to look prim when entering our classroom. Excuse me. She calls into the quiet classroom with a probing, delicate voice. I realize the silence might unnerve her because of her blindness, so I break it. Good morning, Lilly. Izao, good morning. I didn't hear you come in. I wonder if she thinks it's suspicious that I didn't say anything to her before. It's likely. If I were to tell her a big lie now, it would sink me. Well, I was already here just to sleep until now. Oh, have you seen Hanako today by any chance? No, she seems to come in only just before the bell rings, or after that. Do you want me to tell her something for you? No, it's fine. It's strange, but I think we're the only two people in the school right now. I didn't hear anyone else on my way here. I shouldn't have gotten up so early today, I guess. You're chastising yourself for doing something other people should? Punctuality is a good thing, I think so anyway. It's a very busy morning today. The festival is coming soon, and today is the deadline for event registration, budget reports, and any other official paperwork. It could be that everyone is trying to complete the necessary forms at the last minute. Maybe that is why it's so quiet today. Hi, oh no. Misha pops into the room with Shizune, as if on cue, shouting with a loudness that makes Lilly visibly flinch. Hi, He-chan. Hi. Look, it's the class representative. Hello. Lilly smiles, probably amused by Misha's or Shizune's use of the word look. Good morning. Of course you're not the representative of this class, right? I'm not. Lilly seems a little more guarded in her answers to Shizune than she was with me the other day. I guess they don't really get along at all. Then I realize that Lilly might actually not know Shizune is present, and she's trying to detect whether or not she is, to not know who she is talking to. For all she knows, she's talking to Misha, but knowing that she and Shizune are practically inseparable, she might expect Shizune being the one that actually talks. Damn, how complicated. I decided to help Lilly out for my own peace of mind more than anything else. You're here early, Shizune. You were here even earlier than us. Misha puffs out her chest angrily. Why is she getting angry? Does she feel emotions on Shizune's behalf too? It's not that weird, though, that Shizune didn't like my little comment. It's true, I was here earlier than them, so me saying something like that could definitely be misinterpreted as anything. Especially to Shizune, who doesn't have the benefit of hearing tone to gauge intent. Before I can start weighing whether or not I should apologize, Shizune has already moved on. Class rep, it's a good thing you're here. We have to talk. The festival is coming up in 3 days, right? Every other class has already handed in their projected budget reports for their events. Even the first years, except you. Wahaha. There's still time to hand it in, isn't there? Today. The deadline is today. You're certainly taking your time, aren't you? If I had it my way, I'd have had all the necessary paperwork days ago, but someone had to save the deadline. Please extend it. Yes, that was me. Planning something on this scale is not a small task, and a week is too small a time frame to expect the whole class to work out such a complex issue completely. Do you want to know what's harder than distributing the funds for one class event? Handling the same matter for every class in the school, and then some. The one who does that is me. Misha puts her hands on her hips and stands up straight. Well, she is really getting into the role. Lilly doesn't look like she's very amused, though. Hey, Shizune, aren't you being a little too hard on her? There's still a whole day left. Please, Izao, it's alright. Lilly seems happy I'm taking her side, but a bit conflicted that I might not think she can take care of herself. If this is about the budget, then I'm disappointed you think I have forgotten about it. I understand how important it is. Then, can I have it, please? Shizune, she might not have it on her this exact second. It's not here right now. I asked 2 students to take care of it for me, students from my class. She emphasizes the last sentence, much to my surprise. She knows about Shizune Misha's effort to rope me into the student council. I guess word must have gotten around, so now she's using me as ammo against Shizune. This just gets better and better. It was your responsibility. A budget report isn't something you should just be delegating away. As class rep, it's your job to be on top of things. This kind of disregard for proper procedure is really just terrible. They completed it, being capable of doing so, but the students have been sick recently, so they could not come to school and give it back to me. If you want, I will apologize on their behalf for getting sick. Okay. Although Misha misses Lilly's little jab entirely, Shizune doesn't, and she seems torn between being offended by Lilly's daring and jumping for joy at the prospect of a challenge. Lilly, don't they live here at the school? That's a 5-minute walk, you know. What could they possibly have that prevents them from taking 5 minutes out of their busy lives to drop off something that will affect the enjoyment of their entire class? Lilly opens her mouth to say something, but Shizune closes the gap between them and starts signing furiously, waving her hands around like an orchestra conductor. Misha tries her best to convey the same passion, but can't seem to lose her normal cheerful tone. The result is interesting and somewhat surreal. And what's with that attitude? I said it's not something you should be delegating away. Are you the class representative, or aren't you? Tell me the names of those 2 students. They should have your job if you can't even handle something this simple yourself. One form isn't the full extent of what I'm supposed to be taking care of. Lily's tone is growing slightly impatient, but she is doing a good job of not letting Shizune see how unsettled she is becoming. She's playing her cards close to her chest. Shizune, on the other hand, wraps her fingers cheerfully along the edge of her glasses, knowing Lilly can neither hear nor see how excited she is. Of course you do so much, class rep. It must be so difficult being you. Lilly tightens her lips at Misha's words, clearly understanding the intent behind them, even though Misha delivers them without even a hint of sarcasm, which they were meant to have. Shizune and Lilly don't like each other, that much is clear, but this seems a little much. Seems like Lilly has had enough and is ready to push back. I was actually just discussing the budget report before you came by. You must be very talented to have finished all your student council duties so quickly that you can track me down to make sure I don't forget my own. Are you accusing me of slacking off? It seems like you're confusing me with yourself. I don't think so. That would be a very difficult thing for me to do, comparing myself to you. You're right, the difference between us is like heaven and hell. And it's not hard to guess which one you might represent. Well, that's a very necessary panty shot. Thank you, game. The air between them ripples with the heat of the enmity. Well, not really. They can't disguise that anymore, though. Even Misha looks like she's beginning to understand the real nature of this conversation. He-chan, don't you slack off either. What are you talking about? Aren't you taking part in the festival, He-chan? You are, aren't you? Then I hope you're going to do a lot more to make sure it goes smoothly than this person. I don't understand why Shizune is suddenly getting mad at me. Oh, there's a choice. Well, let's save. Alright, well, I'm gonna go with this one. Hey, I'm the new guy, remember? It's not like I could have done much, even if I wanted. That's right, you shouldn't expect a transfer student to jump right into this in his first week. Lilly taking my side feels oddly comforting, so I decided to back her up, too. Yeah, you're being unreasonable with us both. Excuses, excuses. Miss Class Rep has had plenty of time to deal with her report. And we repeatedly offered you a position to help the student council work, but you refused to commit yourself to making the festival a success. Yeah, but as I said back then, I'm not sure if... I don't have time for this right now. No matter what I do, it will mean being drawn into a confrontation with Shizune, and that is what she wants. Whatever, forget it. I turn my back at them. I get back to my seat and shut my ears from the finale of the argument between Lilly and Shizune. Eventually, Lilly leaves our classroom and Shizune and Misha seat themselves without talking to me. I can feel Shizune's eyes burning into my back. She's probably angry at me, but I'm just as angry with her. I don't get why she had to drag me into the argument. Hanako doesn't come to the morning class at all, leaving her seat looking empty and lonely in the back of the classroom. I have to tell her that Lilly was looking for her if I see her later. After the events of this morning, class is pretty boring in comparison. I turn the pages of my textbook lazily. I have a bit of catching up to do despite trying to keep up with my studies at the hospital, but I'm not feeling that enthusiastic about it. The clock at the front of the room sounds unbearably loud. The teacher hasn't said anything over 7 minutes, instead opting to cover the board in rows and rows of equations taken directly from the book. The rhythmic clashing of chalk on blackboard seems to synchronize perfectly with the ticking of the clock. I start to copy down the equations just to pass the time, even though they're right there in the textbook. When the bell rings, I'm not in a hurry because I have nothing to do, so I stay for a while reviewing what we covered in class today. I prefer to leave last anyway, so I won't have to deal with crowding in the hallways. I notice Shizune and Misha have also stayed behind, talking to someone from another class. Shizune is signing so fast that her hands make noises like swords cutting through the air. Maybe there is a pent-up anger in there. Misha is trying desperately to keep up, but it's clear she can barely manage to even understand her. I put my head down. Whatever they're discussing, it looks like serious business. Shizune signs to the point where her wrists crackle, and Misha struggles to spit it out in word form. Sometimes she trips over herself like she's dealing with tongue twisters, and then on top of that, she has to sign back anything the other girl says. Seems like a rough job. Misha looks tired, like she's about to faint. Luckily for her, their business is soon finished, and the girls sit down in their seats again. I'm so tired. She's hanging her head limply on her desk, looking exhausted. I use the opportunity to reconcile with Shizune a bit, without getting roped into the student council thing again, though I suspect that door is now closed for me. Festival preparations must be tough for you. Indeed, the people in the school seem to be taking the festival very seriously. Whenever I see people idling before and after classes, they're always talking about their plans for it. It's kind of neat to see everyone being so enthusiastic about it. I'm probably the only one who doesn't have something to do. Shizune scoffs at me first, as if trying to decide whether to ignore or sneer at me, but in the end she starts signing without doing either. Misha perks up, looking at her hands with slightly unfocused eyes. She signs with harsh, heavy, dramatic strokes. Misha translates her signing into speech for me. She does it so well, it's almost like Shizune is actually speaking, transmitting her thoughts directly through Misha. She must have practiced it vigorously. Well, of course, we're in the student council, you know, so we're pretty busy. It's an important duty of ours to ensure the success of the festival with all our strength. We would shame ourselves in front of the past student council generations if the festival were to fail. That's why there must be no flaws, no, I think that was encumbrances, no, nothing that might make the festival short of perfect. Shizune's passionate speech and Misha's enacting are pretty oddly fitting of them. Oh, hello. Yeah. I look over my shoulder to see Hanako peering timidly into the classroom, most of her body hidden behind the door. Hey, playing delinquent again? Hanako blushes hard at Misha's straightforward jab, even if it was only in jest. Shizune stares at her probingly, causing Hanako to look down and start backing away to the point where only her fingers can be seen wrapped nervously around the edge of the door. Maybe she's showing her dislike of Hanako by association of her dislike of Lilly. It appears so, and Hanako probably knows it as well. What is it, Hanako? Has Lilly been here? Sorry, haven't seen Sato. She came by in the morning, though. Hanako keeps looking uneasily at Shizune, who stares back at her with her usual studying gaze. What is she trying to do? Of course, Shizune isn't going to look away, and she's intimidating enough as it is, so I can only imagine how terrified Hanako would be. It is a little uncomfortable watching Hanako's reaction to Shizune's normal behavior. This is what happens when two people of two different experiences meet, it seems. Do you know where she is? If she has any sense in her head, she's in her classroom working on their festival project, but who knows where that woman is loitering at. Hanako nods quickly and retreats with haste. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, we were working hard to make the festival happen, and driving other people insane along the way. Well, good luck with that. I stand up to leave, making my exit before either of them manages to berate me anymore for slacking off. And I'm gonna end it there. Oh man, it's been like 46 minutes. Well, yeah, I'm gonna end it there anyway. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.